everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Fibonerdi Podcast.
What do you mean the next? It's the 4th.
Would you shut the fuck up?
We can say it's the 4th. We're just not saying what fucking day. We're just not saying what day it is.
Yes,
we can say that it's the 4th fucking episode.
But if we're not saying what day it is, then how the I don't want to keep going on with the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th.
No, because then it sounds cool because you say welcome to the 4th episode of the Fibonerdi Podcast. Just sounds better.
Dude, he's doing our intros from now on.
Okay,
you've been demoted.
You have been fucking fired. I'm sorry.
Anyway, welcome to the Fibonerdi Podcast. I am Hoyt.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Vince.
And today we're going to talk about some random bullshit.
Pretty much like every podcast.
So, how was everybody's day?
Shitty.
I ate at Buffalo Wild Wings and went to sleep. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, mine's been pretty good too. I did the same thing. Ate at Buffalo Wild Wings. Watched the games. Watched the Packers lose.
Oh my god. Please. Please don't.
Am I the only person that thinks it's wrong to be talking about sports in a nerdy podcast?
No, because I think we're destroying the stereotype. We're destroying the stereotype of nerds.
We're nerds and we like sports.
I mean, I wouldn't say I like sports.
I like football.
but I know, I like football.
Go sports ball.
I don't like sports.
Yay, sports!
I like football.
Same.
But I like American football and then football and everywhere else.
Oh, not me.
Because fucking Japanese soccer and Italian soccer, like when they verse each other, it's fucking amazing.
How is it different?
How is anything?
How is Japanese soccer different from Italian soccer? I thought it was the same game.
No. I mean, like, when a Japanese team versus a fucking Italian
Well, why
team.
has it got to be Japanese? Why has it got to be Italian? Why can't it just be soccer?
Because they play differently.
Those games are intense.
Those games are, like,
it's
more
not even
intense.
Soccer, it's football. That's how it's commonly referred to around the country.
That's why I said football at first, you fucking douchebag. I said football first.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, so I like football, American football, and I like regular football, also known as soccer. Those are the two sports I like, but I wouldn't say I like sports, because then that encompasses, like, basketball and fucking baseball. I'm sorry, but since I've been 6 years old, I've never seen a fucking baseball game.
I hate baseball.
He just comes out and says it.
I fucking love baseball.
It's one of those It's one of those sports that I like playing.
Okay.
But I hate watching.
Because it's really fucking
It's
boring.
Yeah, like there's not much that happens. It's too slow paced for me. Mm-hmm. I like sports where people get fucked up, like football and hockey.
Yeah.
And rugby. Even though I really don't know anything about rugby, other than people fuck each other up, and it's kind of like football.
It's kind of like football, but really fucking crazy.
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that I do like baseball.
I like volleyball.
And I like hockey.
I don't like watching it.
And I love football. My favorite sport by far is UFC. Hands down. Without a doubt.
Have you ever done anything UFC related?
Don't get
like MMA?
to watch it
like, have I
as much as I want to.
No, not have you fought in, because we have all fought in.
Fought in? What the fuck is fought in?
Shut the fuck up, Hoyt.
No, seriously, no, you were fucking with me. It's my turn to fuck with you. What the fuck's fought in? Is that even a word? Please, somebody.
Is that like the flame?
Leave it in the comments.
Have you ever fought like an actual MMA bout?
Hashtag foughten.
Hashtag have you foughten?
Please, somebody go on Vince's Twitter and do that. That'd be awesome.
Oh my god.
No, I have not.
You have not? Have you, Hoyt?
Foughten?
No, you fucking did. Have you ever sparred with someone or have been in a match
Oh, yeah.
where you have used mixed martial arts?
Yes, I used to take karate when I was younger. I took Shinto Ryo. I've taken Taekwondo a couple of different times.
Okay, so Brandon's the only one because I used to do
fun shit.
I used to do Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I don't know who the fucking people are that don't count UFC as a sport, but they're fucking dumb because it is a sport.
It's more of a sport than any other sport because you're using your whole fucking body. I mean, I don't know what necessarily defines a sport other than fighting for survival.
Let's be completely honest. There's people that consider WWE a sport.
No. Now listen, that is a sport,
It is
the outcome is always predicted and preset prior to. However, there is no disputing that those fuckers are not athletes.
There's a difference.
Can you do what they do? Can you do what they do?
Let me talk. There's a difference between being an athlete and playing a sport. That is a yes. I will agree
but
with you.
But athletic,
they are athletic.
Athletics are typically sports.
No,
yes.
Sports are governed by sets of rules.
There's rules in wrestling too.
Yeah,
now,
it's called a script.
People break them all the time.
It's called a script.
Yes, it's
anything that is scripted
though.
Cannot, by definition, be a sport.
I'm not saying it's a sport worth betting on, because if you're betting on fucking professional wrestling, you're a retard. What I'm saying is that there are different types of sports. Some people would say that hunting is a sport. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I would agree.
And with modern technology,
well, hunting
the
in a
animal
competition
is kind of at a
sport.
disadvantage.
Okay, wrestling, if you want to go with that analogy, is the equivalent of tying a deer to a fucking tree so it can't leave, so you can shoot it, and calling that sport shooting.
Well, with modern technology today, is it really any different than that? Because seriously,
it's completely
It's completely different. I'm still fucking going out and trying to shoot it.
Anybody can fucking point a gun at a deer and pull
That's
the
like
trigger
saying,
and put it
you
down.
know, like in Jurassic Park where they feed the animals
There's
to the T-Rex.
6-year-olds that kill deer. I mean,
yeah, you know, like
but it's still a sport.
Jurassic Park, where they feed the animals to like the T-Rex.
Yeah,
that's like saying that T-Rex hunted that animal.
Yes, but in a professional wrestling, you have two athletes who train constantly and pretty much stay in shape for the good part.
I'm not saying they're not in shape. I'm saying it is
those dudes
as a whole,
can do things I can't do with my body, and I respect that, and I will say that is a fucking sport all day long.
I will not.
I will say that the wrestlers in WWE are athletes, but they get a really big fucking asterisk next to the word athlete. Because then you go down on that fucking page and you have to read, this is a big fucking loophole, its whole thing is scripted, stuff like that. So it's not in the same category as like a UFC fighter or a fucking football player.
Alright,
I would say that it's a sport, but doesn't fall into the competitive sport category.
That is the exact point I was about to make, actually.
Okay. That I will agree with.
When I talk about
sports,
as long
as you acknowledge that it is a sport.
No, I will not.
You just said it was. You said it's not a competitive sport, but it is a sport.
No. I said the point I was going to make is that when I talk about sports, I talk about specifically competitive sports. If there's no competition to it, it's not a sport, in my opinion. It's a hobby or a job.
I wouldn't even say it's a hobby. I wouldn't even say it is a job, but it's not necessarily a job, because there's people that don't do it for the money. They do it because it's fun and entertaining.
There's WWE wrestlers that do it just because they like wrestling.
No, but there are amateur wrestlers who do it. I mean, when I was younger, the amateur wrestling used to come to my school like all the time.
Okay. So, other than the scale...
Especially here in Florida, because the WWE's here in Florida, and there's tons of wrestling schools all around.
They're actually headquartered out of Connecticut.
But there's tons of WWE wrestling schools here in
Here's how you're fucking wrong.
No,
actually headquartered out of Connecticut.
No, like the WWE's #1 wrestling school is in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a huge difference, though. All that you're talking about is scale. Those amateur wrestlers are no different than WWE wrestlers, other than the money backing them and the what's the word I'm looking for?
Publicity.
And who sees it. There's no difference.
Don't get me wrong. It is a drama-fed male soap opera. That's exactly what it is. But it requires an athlete to do it.
It requires athletic ability to be in this manly soap opera.
I guarantee you, if it was 1,000-pound overweight men standing in a ring, there would be no entertainment value to it, and there would be no athletics to it whatsoever.
False.
Not true at all.
False. I would fucking pay to see that. If they were all fighting over a Twinkie, I would put so much money into this show.
Just that. That's how the WWE started, was with people like that.
That were 1,000 pounds.
Not 1,000 pounds.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying morbidly obese people.
Okay, but they were not athletic. They were big fucking fat people.
They had some athleticism if they're picking somebody up and throwing them around a ring. I'm just saying.
Not when the other person pretends to get thrown. Like, if I were to go like this and pretend like I'm going to punch you and you jump back, like, that's not me being athletic
You
and
obviously
punching
have
you
not
across
watched
the room.
wrestling in the past 20 years because, yes, that is how it used to be. That's not how it is anymore. Because I can tell you right now that I used to watch Kidman back when I was about, I would say, 16 years old, and that guy would do a triple backflip off the top rope and land directly on top of somebody.
I'm not saying
That's difficult to fucking do.
I'm not saying there's
I
not
couldn't do
skill
that shit.
involved with it. I'm not saying they're not athletic people. I'm saying it as a whole is not a sport.
Okay, then what's
It is a
gymnastics?
performance.
Because it's essentially the same thing.
There's
gymnastics.
competition in gymnastics.
But it's you can still have the sport and not have competition though. You can still play a game with no need for competition.
Name one.
Basketball, you can go out and shoot hoops and not keep score.
Yeah, but then
Baseball, you can go out and practice the batting cages and not keep score. You can do that with any sport just to play.
yeah, maybe. But those
You maybe not because you're a competitive person and I know you.
even those activities, none of that is scripted though.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying
You're not going to see some dude
But
walking
if it
around.
is scripted, they're not technically keeping score. They're just doing whatever. They're doing it for entertainment. It's a sport that is done specifically
Not a
for
sport.
entertainment value and drama production alone.
That doesn't make it a sport though. That
That
makes it a
doesn't
performance.
not make it a sport
It
either.
makes it a performance.
Okay, so you're saying that ballerinas are not athletes.
No,
Because
they're
there's
not.
people that would say that dancing
They're
is a sport.
They're athletic. They're not athletes though.
Yes, but there's people that would say dancing is a sport. Because it's competitive, and there's even fucking reality TV shows that prove that it's competitive dancing that you can make into a sport.
You're taking a game show and classifying it as a sport. No.
It's competition, though. So it's a
Competition
sport.
doesn't equal sport.
And then there's the kids in high school who do like the math Olympics and shit. Technically, that's a sport because they're using their brain to do it. It's not athletic because they're using their brain, but could their brain be used in a sport for knowledge? Sure, it can. Are you fucking really going online and
Sport,
looking up
an
Webster's
activity
dictionary?
involving physical
Fuck you.
exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for
Yeah, but
entertainment.
but that's vague because it says two teams competing against each other.
Which an individual or team competes against another or others.
Yeah, exactly. Competition. Competition implies sport.
So what competition is there in WWE wrestling?
But it also says, it's the previous part of the definition also where it says athletic ability is involved too.
You can't pick and choose parts of a definition.
No. What I'm saying, what I'm
Be like,
saying
yeah,
is,
that's what it is.
what I'm saying is by your definition, basketball is not a sport until it is competitive. Baseball is not a sport until it is competitive.
Yeah, it's
Any
a game.
sport
It's a
that is
game until
traditional
it's competitive.
sport,
Yeah.
Then it turns into a sport.
it's only a sport when it becomes competitive.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I
a game
disagree
or
with
a
that.
hobby until it becomes competitive.
I disagree with that completely because a sport is
He
a
just
sport.
showed you the fucking
It
definition.
doesn't matter because guess what?
Screw you guys, I'm going
You're
home.
using a dictionary, which is status of I don't know the English language as it is written at the point that definition was created. But guess what? Languages evolve over time.
So, who saw that Ant-Man trailer?
I saw
did.
it. I don't really know
And
a
I
whole lot
wanted to
about
cry.
Ant-Man.
You don't know a lot about Ant-Man?
I actually know what I know from the trailer, and that's
Okay.
about it.
So, Paul Rudd is playing Ant-Man. But, in the comic book, Paul Rudd is playing the character of Scott Lang. Scott Lang is actually the second Ant-Man. It was Michael Douglas, correct?
Yes, Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, who is also in the trailer as an old man, is playing the original Ant-Man.
Yep, I remember that.
Who is Hank Pym. Hank Pym is the original Ant-Man. So they're doing it based off of the second Ant-Man, Scott Lang. The whole story between Scott Lang and Hank Pym in the comic books was that Scott Lang stole the Ant-Man suit because he needed to perform like a robbery because these people had I believe his wife and daughter in custody or some shit like that, and they were holding them for ransom, and they were like, do this, or we're gonna fucking kill your family. So he does this, gets them their money, and then Hank Pym Scott Lang was also like a thief, but he needed the Ant-Man suit to do this robbery. So after the whole entire robbery is done, he gets his family back. Hank Pym tells him, I know you did this, and you're a fucking dick for being a thief, but I feel like you can do a lot of good with this ability. Here is my Ant-Man suit. Go be Ant-Man. Because I'm a fucking dick also, and now I have this huge, like, alcoholic problem and social problem because I just divorced my wife because I was beating her all the time, so you need to be the new Ant-Man. And that's it.
So what's, like, the main story behind the Ant-Man character? Like, he can, shrink down to, like, the size of an ant, right?
Exactly. Take someone who almost has the exact same intellect as Iron Man.
Okay.
Almost the exact same intellect.
Now, is this the second one or the first one?
No, the first one.
Okay.
Henry Pym. Henry Pym is a physicist. So he...
Before we get into that, hold on one second, because this is a good tangent to get in where I was going to say something. So...
It is a sport!
Being a physicist is a sport! Ant-Man
is an athlete!
I find it extremely weird that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going the Scott Lang route.
Okay.
But I have a theory that I will get into after I explain why I think it's weird that they're using Scott Lang and not Henry Pym. So,
well, obviously it's weird they're using Scott Lang because they're not using they're trying to tell an origin story with the second character that played the part.
That's extremely weird. I don't even know if they're telling an origin story with it.
That's like telling Iron Man, but the main character is Rhodey.
Maybe they feel that he's more...
War Machine.
Maybe they feel that Scott Lang's a more relative character for the time, what be it. But anyway, I find it extremely weird that they're doing that, especially with May's release coming up of the Age of Ultron.
Yes.
Because who originally created Ultron?
Hank Pym.
Egg-fucking-zactly. But the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing the creation of Ultron differently.
Yeah.
Because they're having Tony Stark be the one that actually creates Ultron and puts all the pieces together.
Exactly.
But Hank Pym was the one who made all the parts for Stark Industries to put them together.
Yes.
This, to me, just solidifies more that Robert Downey Jr. isn't going anywhere any fucking time soon.
No.
Like, he is here to stay. There will never be no Iron Man other than him, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe has put him at the goddamn center.
Yeah.
I read an interview that he did a while back, and the question that was asked was, who were you born to play this role, or yada yada yada, or whatever. He responded by saying, when I go home, there's times I don't know whether I'm Tony Stark or whether I'm Robert Downey Jr. And I'm leaning a little bit more towards Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He definitely has the money to be Tony Stark right now.
He does. And it's not even just like his ability with that. It's the fact that he's embraced the role himself. Yeah. And he wants to do it. So, like, a lot of superhero movies, they'll get people that'll sign on for a movie or maybe a series of movies that aren't really that vested in the character itself. Whereas Robert Downey Jr.
For an example, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman, he's amazing as Wolverine. And I know he tries above and beyond to be that character. But when he goes home, he isn't that loner, cigar-smoking fucking badass.
Yeah.
He's just some Australian guy that sits at home watching Netflix. Robert Downey Jr., on the other side, is the one who's sipping fucking whiskey, cracking jokes at people, and telling him that he's smarter than them.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
But, like I said, that's just my tangent on why they're using Scott Lang and not Hank Pym.
The reason to have a rebuttal from your statement, my thoughts on why they're using the Scott Lang character instead of Henry Pym is Henry Pym is a way too in-depth character to just throw into the Marvel Universe right now.
You mean Hank, not Henry.
Well, his name is Henry Pym.
Well,
his nickname is Hank.
Yeah.
Henry Pym is the original Ant-Man. Not only is he the original Ant-Man, but he's also the husband to the Wasp, character, the Wasp, who were in the original Avengers. A lot of people, I feel, are going to be fucking wondering if they have Henry Pym, as Ant-Man, where the fuck is the Wasp? Okay, the Wasp is coming now that we have Henry Pym playing Ant-Man. Not only are we going to have the Wasp, but we're going to have him creating Ultron. We're going to have all these other things. We're also going to have Ant-Man turning into Giant Man. If you have Hank Pym as Ant-Man, I feel like all the viewers are going to expect a lot more. When you have Scott Lang playing the character, who just has Ant-Man, very brief time as Giant Man, he doesn't have that very, very rich backstory that you're going to need. It's very easy to do just a quick origin story. Was a thief, got the Ant-Man suit, now he's Ant-Man. Boom, it's really fucking sweet and to the point. They don't have to do this whole fucking movie of an origin story with this character.
It makes a lot of sense because they're not really then tied into that series for that character
Exactly.
if it doesn't do well.
Yeah, it can be it will be a solo character. If they use Hank Pym, that's something that they're going to have to project making more movies for. They're going to have to make Ant-Man. Then they're going to have to make Giant Man. Then they're going to have to make Ant-Man and Wasp together. Include them in the fucking Avengers, all these different things.
Now, see, here's the part that I don't really understand. So before the first Avengers came out, they did origin stories for all the main characters.
Yes.
And some of them multiple movies.
Yes.
With the whole plan of doing Avengers and moving on from them.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you then not... Why would you start and play that safe of a bet with that character compared to how you did it with all the other Marvel characters that they've done movies for? That doesn't make sense to me why they would play the safe route now
with Ant-Man?
Yeah. Because,
Okay.
in the beginning, Marvel movies were not big. They weren't... they had a few that came out, but it wasn't this huge fanfare that they have now.
Yeah.
So they took risks on all of those, and they went the right way with it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's they've kind of just stepped back and decided, well, maybe this won't do so well.
I will tell you why. And it happens to deal with Sony and Fox entirely.
Okay.
Because, so let's take the X-Men, for example. We have X-Men, done by Bryan Singer. Great movie.
Yeah.
Then we have X-Men 2. Somewhat less shitty. Or, actually not less shitty, more shitty of a movie.
Yeah, not as good as the first.
Then we have X-Men 3, which is a bastardized version of the Dark Phoenix saga, which pains me to no beginning.
Yeah, we don't talk about number 3. We don't talk about number 3.
Again, 2 and 3, not done by Bryan Singer.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have The First Class. Great movie.
Solid movie.
And then, after that, we have Days of Future Past.
He's thinking of Chris Pratt right
Back
now.
again.
Days of Future Pratt. We will have Chris Pratt in a movie, goddammit.
I would watch that movie. But anyway, that said, Days of Future Past, which basically gave Bryan Singer the ability to flip off anybody who had touched X-Men after him.
Yeah,
to
pretty
begin
much
with.
all that timeline where shit was fucked up and you didn't like the movies, don't worry about that,
It's
because
gone.
that whole timeline is fucking gone.
Because Bryan Singer fucking fixed it.
Yeah.
Now, let's get on to Sony.
Wow,
Spider-Man.
I just thought about it. If someone else would have done Days of Future Past, there would have not been any type of movie he would have been able to do what he just did with Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
There is no other timeline fixing occurrence that happens.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a lot of time. That's the only real timeline skipping
Yep.
series they had.
Yep.
That I know of.
Yep. They could have done something really goofy by bringing in the Shatari Empire and then fucking everything
Yeah.
up with them, but
then it would have been
that just
super fucking
stupid.
convoluted. At
Yeah.
least with Days of Future Past, we're like, okay, a large majority of us have read this comic book. We know how it's supposed to work. Any type of timeline skipping or fixing is understandable since you have time jumping. They explained that in the first fucking 10 minutes of the movie with how Kitty Pryde just erases herself out of existence, and then they're like, oh, we popped up over here because I just sent my consciousness. It just made sense. It was real fucking easy, but he did it super solid.
If you haven't looked up the Shi'ar Empire, go now.
Yeah, go right now. Shi'ar Empire. No, go.
Because they say Professor X, and it's awesome.
You can't fucking look it up as we're doing a podcast.
But then let's move on. Let's move on to Sony now. So we get on to Sony. Sony can't decide what the fuck they're going to do with Spider-Man. They do 3 movies with Topher Grace, or not Topher. Topher Grace is in the third one. He was so bad that he looks exactly like fucking Tobey Maguire.
Topher and Toby.
So you have Tobey Maguire who comes in as Peter Parker, who is an amazing traditional Spider-Man. The original Peter Parker, original Spider-Man, like those old books, amazing.
Yeah, that was Tobey Maguire.
Did a great job.
The first 2 movies was the older 1960s TV show that we used to watch.
Golden age of comics Spider-Man.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now
that before
we have Andrew Garfield.
before wisecracking Spider-Man that we all know as the regular Spider-Man.
So now we have Andrew Garfield, who, in my all accounts, when I first picked up a Spider-Man comic book to read it, it was Spider-Man, and it was Andrew Garfield's fucking Spider-Man. He's a smartass. He makes jokes, and is just flying all over the place, doing amazing, awesome shit.
It's actually kind of sad because they're getting rid of him too.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I was getting ready to bring up, is the fact that now Sony, again, can't decide what they're going to do with fucking Spider-Man, and they want to get rid of Andrew Garfield, who is an amazing Spider-Man. So, after they fucking have him and do the whole scene with
the Gwen Stacy death?
God, don't talk about it. Because...
For all of you physics enthusiasts...
Physics?
Physics... That's what I fucking said first. All you physics enthusiasts, pick up the book Physics of Superheroes. It is a amazing book that goes in depth about all things physics and comic books, and it actually explains the whole science behind Gwen Stacy's death, how Superman can fly faster by just willing himself to fly faster, whole bunch of different things. If you're into science and physics and fucking comic books, pick up that book. You can get it fucking $4 off abebooks.com.
So, anyway,
we are not
after you pick up
we
that
are
book.
not sponsored by Abe Books.
Anyway, after you pick up that book, moving on to what I was talking about with the Andrew Garfield, Sony setting the Amazing Spider-Man up for the post Gwen Stacy awesomeness that is about to unfold.
Sinister Six
is now not going to give us that.
Yeah, the whole end of the fucking movie was a segue into the Sinister Six.
It's like we get to miss out on all of the dark days of Spider-Man dealing with my girlfriend, the love of my life, just fucking died, and we don't get a Mary Jane.
Yeah, this redheaded floozy comes out of nowhere.
So Sony's like, we got to reboot the series all over again.
Yeah, and you heard what they're doing with it, right? So they had...
Not entirely. I've heard rumors about
so they had Tobey Maguire.
Substantial.
They had Tobey Maguire. He pretty much played that golden age Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Except for Spider-Man 3, which we don't talk about.
Yeah, because it's bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Why Spider-Man 3 and X-Men 3? They just fucking... They dropped the ball, the hat...
Well, I can tell you right now where they went wrong. They brought the Dark Phoenix in a weird way and made it all about a mutant cure for X-Men.
I feel like
and
they
in
glossed
Spider-Man
over it,
3,
too.
I have 2 words. Topher Grace. Nuff fucking said.
Yeah.
Venom is Topher Grace?
No.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I feel like they glossed over the whole Dark Phoenix thing. Because we
they
all saw the
totally did.
scene at the end of X2, and we were like, oh, that shadow looks like a fucking Phoenix. Dark Phoenix is coming to X-Men 3. I can't fucking wait. And then they just gave us bullshit.
See, my one problem with the First Class was Sebastian Shaw.
We just talked about 2 completely different fucking movies.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but we were talking about the Dark Phoenix saga.
I'm talking about the segue into X3, and you're like, fucking First Class!
No, it deals with it, because, like, okay, so in the original Dark Phoenix saga, Jean Grey, after she becomes the Phoenix, she leaves and she goes to the
Hellfire Club.
The Hellfire Club, which is ran by Sebastian Shaw.
Okay.
And this is where we meet Emma Frost and all her sexiness, and tons of other characters from the Hellfire Club.
Which was not in first... Yeah, she was in first class.
She wasn't in first class, neither was Jean Grey.
She was in first class.
Was she in?
Yes, she was.
Yes, she was.
Yep, she was. Remember, she's the only fucking telepath on their fucking... She's the one who talks to Sebastian Shaw the entire time about how Professor Xavier is a telepath, and then it doesn't correctly match up because Emma Frost is now older, and in X3, she's a young girl.
Yeah, but see, here's the other thing that bothers me about that movie. Is because...
there's more than one thing? I had no idea.
Now Sebastian Shaw's dead.
Yeah, coin through the face.
So you can't have any sort of a Dark Phoenix saga traditionally as it should have been done, which would have been with the first class characters.
Well, yeah,
because
the whole
was
thing,
the uncanny
the whole
X.
substitute for Sebastian Shaw and the Hellfire Club was Magneto and his Brotherhood. That was the substitution in X3.
No.
Yeah, that was their fucking solution.
And then they convoluted it all with stupid mutant cure.
Yeah, the whole mutant cure. That whole fucking thing was stupid. The using Leech, though, which is one of my favorite characters, Leech from the Morlocks.
Yeah.
Do you know who Leech is?
Nope.
Alright, so there's the X-Men. Then imagine a whole bunch of fucking mutants that are that exact name. They live in the sewers, and they're fucking gross, and they have grody powers. One of them is Leech, that bald kid that you see in X3. But he actually looks like an alien in the comic books. And he has that power where if he touches you, he's pretty much like Rogue, where he just sucks all your fucking power away.
Yeah.
The use of Leech in X3, that was pretty smart. I like that. But the whole use for it with the serum and the mutant cure and shit like that, that was fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Rogue going over there and getting her powers taken away, fucking dumb. Because she just stopped herself from absorbing Ms. Marvel and being super fucking powerful.
That said, I don't think that was so much Rogue as it was Anna Paquin.
Yeah. Okay. Understandable.
Because Anna Paquin's annoying.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta go back to doing fucking True Blood with my boyfriend. Sorry, X-Men, something that's a lot more profitable.
Like,
I'm gonna go fuck vampires.
It really pains me that Sony is going to take Andrew Garfield away from Spider-Man.
Oh, back on that. I didn't finish talking about that. So, they got... I was about to say fucking Topher Grace. They got Tobey Maguire to play that quintessential Golden Age Spider-Man for 1 and 2. They got Andrew Garfield to play the Amazing Spider-Man that us 80s and 90s kids know and love. That wisecracking, that fucking TV show that we all grew up on, the animated fucking Spider-Man show. That what they're doing now is they're doing an older Spider-Man, something a little bit older than the Tobey Maguire one. So he's out of high school, out of college, past college. Kind of like a mid-30s Spider-Man is what they're talking about doing.
It's going to be weird.
Something more mature. Something more like a Christopher Nolan Spider-Man.
Don't make it Dark Knight.
Is that not what I just said?
I know.
A Christopher Nolan Spider-Man,
Yes, I know.
that's what they said they wanted to do.
I know, but they don't need to do that. You don't do that
Believe
with
me,
Spider-Man.
I know they don't have to do that.
Don't do that with Superman either. God.
Why did Pa have to die? Can someone answer that question for me?
Okay,
Why
first
did
of all, I will tell you
why
why
did John
Pa has
Kent have to die?
This is why Paul had to die. Because Pa Kent dies.
He had to die
Because he dies.
He dies. He dies in the books. And
Yeah, but he
has to
doesn't die like that.
No, he doesn't. And Smallville pissed me off so much when they killed off Pa Kent the way they killed him off. Because Clark decides to turn back time to go and save Lana fucking Lang.
Yeah.
And it kills his dad.
Yeah.
Fuck her. I fucking hate Lana Lang so goddamn much. Because there has never been a Pa Kent that has been better than the Pa Kent they had on Smallville.
I feel like on a psychological type of note, the reason why he's the dark Christopher Nolan Superman at the end is because of how Pa Kent died.
I didn't see any of them, so
You didn't see the Man of Steel?
Nope.
Okay, well, I'm getting
Deployment.
ready for a spoiler alert, so...
Yeah,
I don't care.
spoiler, fucking
Doesn't matter.
alerts.
I was on deployment. I never had an opportunity to grab it, and I just haven't gone and watched
Spoiler alert for the next, 5 minutes. Don't listen, because
Yeah.
it.
we're
They
going to talk
should know
about
by
Man of
now
Steel.
Yeah.
that the entire podcast will have spoilers.
Spoiler
Okay.
alert if you were on deployment when Man of Steel came out.
Man of Steel, the biggest shock for me was the last... happened at the last 5 minutes of the
15.
movie.
Last 15.
Was it the last 15?
15.
I guess it was the last 15.
It is a long movie.
Because him and Zod are fighting, and they
know
go
who General
all the way
Zod is,
up
right?
to the fucking nation's capital, and Zod has the laser eyes on, and Clark's got him in a headlock,
Yeah, he's got him in the super lock.
and Zod is trying to turn his head with the lasers, and there's a family over in the corner of the Capitol building.
They didn't listen. They didn't listen to Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z and just fucking dodge. They could have ran away throughout that entire fucking scene, but they just stay there and they're like, "Oh, fucking laser beams are coming my way. Might as well just sit down."
And cower like little retards. So then, in order to save them, and you don't even find out if he saves them or not,
Because it doesn't pan to the family
he
afterwards.
breaks Zod's neck. Superman kills Zod.
Yeah,
Kills him.
super kills.
Dead.
Zod's not coming back.
Zod done.
Super breaks his
In the
fucking neck.
can.
Maybe Superman will feel really bad about it and turn back time to save Zod's life.
Nope.
Nope, not
Nope.
happening.
No,
Nope.
I tried.
You know Carol Ferris is in that movie?
Really?
Okay, so we will go back to the Zod thing and the psychological note that I was talking about and the explanation of how Pa Kent dies. But the army captain, the cute little army captain girl, the one that's talking to the, I forgot what rank he was. He was a higher officer.
Detective Stabler?
No, douchebag. The fucking black dude.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The cute captain girl, she's talking to the higher officer when Superman comes and he's just like, leave me the fuck alone, I'm just gonna do what I do, blah, blah, blah. Leaves, and then she's like, he's really cute. That is fucking Carol Ferris.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Did you look at her fucking name tag? Carol Ferris, supposed to be Star Sapphire, supposed to be the love interest of fucking Green Lantern. She becomes Star Sapphire, leader of the Star Sapphires.
Wait a second, hold up. Before we go on any further, Green Lantern. Let's see. Who's done voices for Green Lantern in the past? Adam Baldwin, and what was that other guy's name, Brandon? What was his name?
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion.
I finally found out who Nathan Fillion is.
You don't know who Nathan Fillion is?
We went over this in the last podcast. Plays in Firefly. I know this now. But we were talking about this because we brought up fucking Uncharted. No,
Time
you
out,
can't
Team
fucking-
Hart.
This ain't
Time out.
sports. This isn't the WWE. You can't call timeout.
This is competitive. Time out. Have you watched Firefly yet, Vince?
No, I have not.
You are dead to me.
Let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
So, as you know, we're getting dogs, right?
Yes.
Do you know what I named my dog?
You named him after the characters
Malcolm
in Firefly.
fucking Reynolds.
Who Nathan Fillion plays. My dog's getting named Daenerys Targaryen. Because she's cool.
Good job.
And I want to marry Daenerys Targaryen at some
So you
point
want to
in my
marry
life.
your dog?
No, not my dog. Real Daenerys Targaryen.
Oh.
But it's a close second.
Okay.
I'll have her be my little bitch.
Okay. This is taking a dark turn.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I'm okay with it or not.
We here at Fibonerdi do not condone bestiality in any
Brandon,
way.
oh my god! That was so dumb! Holy fuck! Shut up! Dear God in heaven! That is like, I'm sorry for what you just heard to come out of Brandon's mouth. That was no way meant to be taken that
I
way.
have a little bit of a theory that I developed in the last 20 minutes
In the last 20
about
minutes.
Ant-Man.
About we weren't even talking about Ant-Man anymore.
But we're talking about Spider-Man.
Which are two different people.
I know.
They're insects. Insect men.
What
Insect
is
men.
possible that they're doing with this movie is they're trying to avoid what happened between Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
To where fans, overall, really like the Amazing Spider-Man better. He's that wisecracking superhero, blah, blah, blah. Paul Rudd, typically, every character he plays has that same type of mentality. Maybe they're just trying to jump straight to the Amazing Spider-Man version of Ant-Man.
But it's funny because the Amazing Spider-Man version of Ant-Man, Scott Lang, is a lot less popular than Hank Pym.
It's because Pym is such an integral character.
When they make
Pym
movies...
Pym is such a fucking dense character. Like, there is not just one layer of him. It is a fucking plethora of layers.
So he's the Shrek of...
Exactly. He's an onion.
Superhero.
Yes,
he's
an onion.
He's more like Iron Man than Spider-Man. He's a very troubled genius.
Yeah, imagine Iron Man, but on top of having a drinking problem, he's also a habitual liar. He has the biggest fucking head ever. He's trying really hard to break the stereotype that smart guys cannot be tough guys. He also has a problem with beating his wife. And then he has a problem where, people don't think I'm leader material? Fuck you guys. I'm going to become an anti-hero. New on the shelves at fucking Publix. Anti-heroes. He becomes an anti-hero. And then he becomes a Yellow Jacket, which becomes a mercenary, pretty much. And he just says, fuck you to everybody. Becomes that character. And then just goes on pretty much a mercenary killing spree.
Deadpool, Yellow Jacket team up.
That'd be interesting.
No, because
Have you
Deadpool
heard any more
will fucking...
about that Deadpool movie that we saw the trailer for a while back?
Yeah. They're making it.
Are they actually making it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I forgot who Ryan Reynolds talked to the director and got like two other like funny people.
Speaking
to
of
be
which,
in them.
why the fuck do they keep giving him superhero movie roles?
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds should have always been Deadpool and just Deadpool.
Yeah, he should never have been Green Lantern because Nathan Fillion should have been Green Lantern.
Did you see...
Nathan Fillion's done Green Lantern.
You saw Wolverine Origins, correct?
I did.
Okay. The parts where Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, were they not amazing?
No, they're pretty good.
As the character. When, I think it's Scott Adkins takes over as Deadpool after he gets his mouth sewn, because that is a different actor. That is Scott Adkins. That's when it turns to dog shit. But Ryan Reynolds, as the voice and actor of Deadpool, fucking flawless. Because Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
He is an asshole, and he knows he's an asshole, and he's a smartass, and he doesn't mind that.
Yeah, and he doesn't mind killing people and then making jokes about it. That is Deadpool.
Yeah.
Especially...
I figured it out. He had two actors, I forgot who the fuck they were, though, I have to look it up. Two actors that he was just like, I want these two people. One was a serious character, and one was like a very, very comedic character. I have to figure out who the fuck they were, but I know what roles they're playing, because it's not confirmed. I'm pretty sure one of them is going to be the very proper, wise, serious voice in Deadpool's head, and then the other one is going to be the super, super obnoxious voice in Deadpool's head. Because Deadpool, not only does he have his Wade Wilson dialogue, he has two other voices in his head. That is my theory on Ryan Reynolds calling those two characters it.
That's really interesting. I still don't understand why they cast Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan, because Hal Jordan is very much like characters from my childhood, like Han Solo, and like Nathan Fillion's character in Firefly, Malcolm Reynolds. They're very headstrong, military type leaders. Like, that's what they do.
Are we talking about the same Hal Jordan?
Yes.
Because
Hal Jordan...
Because I fucking hate Hal Jordan.
Don't get me wrong.
With a fiery passion.
Don't get me wrong. Hal Jordan has his problems.
Yeah, laundry list of them.
Just like Han Solo has his fucking problems, and just like Malcolm Reynolds has their fucking problems. I know you can't attest to Malcolm Reynolds. Brandon can. But you can attest to Han Solo, because Han Solo is not the squeaky clean little guy. He's this fucking smuggler who lives by his own set of rules, does what he wants to do when he wants to do it, as does Malcolm Reynolds.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Han Solo, and also Malcolm Reynolds, have they ever had a mental fucking breakdown and gave up everything because they failed?
No, because they never got to that point.
Exactly. Hal Jordan, that is his weakness. I have watched
I will agree with
Justice
you on
League Doom for the 4th time yesterday. I don't know if you've ever seen Justice League Doom, but it's pretty much a movie where this character, Randall Savage, he is like this 10 billion year old fucking dude, and he's immortal. He gets together the Legion of Doom, and they take the schematics from Batman on how to kill each member of the Justice League. They bury fucking Bruce Wayne alive in his parents' grave, and then take all of Batman's...
Wow.
Yeah. Batman gets fucking pissed, and then beats the shit out of everybody. He beats the shit out of Bane. He's like, oh, because it was Bane who threw him inside the fucking casket.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I saw one of the greatest cosplays I've ever seen in my entire life the other day.
Okay.
It was a story I found on Reddit. It was these two guys dressed up in a nice, like the dude was in a tux, the one was in like this nice dress, like they were going out somewhere. They would run up to every Batman they saw at the con, yell "son," and then fall down on the ground dead. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
That is amazing.
The only thing that could have been more amazing is seeing the Batman cosplayer drop to his knees and grab the cowl with both hands and just start screaming.
That would have been great.
Dude, it was so amazing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, it's fine.
I had to get that out there.
So Bane fucking throws Bruce Wayne inside a casket of his parents, and then they take the plans that Batman had. The plans were just to incapacitate each member of the Justice League. Savage and the Legion of Doom change the plans so that they kill each member of the Justice League. They clip a bomb to Flash that if he stops running, it explodes. They do this... they give this serum to Martian Manhunter where
hold on a second, hold on. Before you move on. Their way to kill Flash was the entire plot point for the movie Speed.
Yes. Exactly. And Crank. With fucking... Pretty much.
That's awesome.
So, all these plans to kill the fucking Justice League. And then, you know who had the worst fucking one? Like, which was the dumbest way to kill them? Hal Jordan goes into a cave to save some fucking people and fails to save them. And he takes the ring off. Because Carol Ferris, who he caused her to become a Star Sapphire, which pretty much drove her into insanity, goes, "You don't deserve this power." And he goes, "Yeah, I don't." Stops being fucking Green Lantern. That's why I hate Hal Jordan, because he's a little bitch.
Well, that's actually...
What I wanted to happen when Batman starts saving every member of the Justice League and, like, counteracting his own plans, Hal Jordan pretty much goes over... Or Batman goes over to Hal Jordan and is just like, "You do deserve this. Don't worry about it. Just fucking chin up, mister." What I wanted him to do was fucking go in there and bitch slap the shit out of him. Stop being a fucking pussy. Put the ring back on. It's the most powerful thing in the fucking universe. Put it back on your finger, stupid face.
But you have to understand, though, like, with Green Lanterns, it's willpower. So, hitting their confidence, yeah, that's how you're going to fucking defeat them.
But my favorite fucking Green Lantern, Jon Stewart, my favorite Green Lanterns are Jon Stewart and Kyle Reiner. Neither one of those...
That's the Daily Show.
Neither one of those characters that have played Green Lantern has that happen to. No one has been able to attack their psyche in a way where they're like, "Okay, I don't deserve this power, I'm not worthy, blah, blah, blah." No, they're like, "No, I will show you why I am worthy to this." This is also why Hal Jordan has been fucking susceptible to Parallax and why he becomes the harbinger of Parallax. Because he's fucking weak. The only reason why he's Green Lantern is because Guy Gardner was not close enough to Abin Sur. It's the only reason why he's why he's the Green Lantern.
Okay, see, here's my thing with superheroes. My thing with superheroes are, like, until they are put into a point where their weakness is tested, they can't truly know who they are.
I feel like with Batman, that was with Jason Todd.
Because
when Jason Todd dies, that attacked his weakness because it was a constant reminder to the loss of his family.
Exactly.
What happened after that? Batman became more badass.
But see, like,
what happens to Hal Jordan when he becomes
that's
a
the
pussy?
beauty with any superhero stories, you have to have that growth. Mm-hmm. You have to. And it's what really defines them as a person.
Yeah.
And Hal Jordan's just a little bitch and didn't get it.
I mean, I agree that maybe Hal Jordan didn't handle that in the right way. But, that being said, also with that ring comes more responsibility than anything else. So, being tested in that way when you're not knowing that you're necessarily being tested, or even that, like, I don't even know how to even put this into words because it's such a hard thing to try and describe, because it's literally something that they're having to go through, and it's the worst possible thing that to them that they fear. Mm-hmm. And for Hal Jordan, that's a very bad thing, because then fear creeps in and he'll maybe become a Yellow Lantern.
I'm going to give you 2 examples.
Just let me continue.
Okay.
The other 2 Green Lanterns not being necessarily, well, other 4, whatever. I'm just talking the other 2 that you had talked about. Mm-hmm. Saying that even though they're confronted with the same thing, don't do that. Maybe that's not their fear. And when a hero is not confronted with the thing that they fear the most, you can't necessarily say that that's going to be how they're going to react and when they're confronted with the thing that they absolutely fear the most.
See,
For Hal Jordan, his whole life, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but did he not constantly fuck up?
Yeah, but he never cared about his fuck-ups.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. This one he actually did care about.
Okay.
And he cared about it so much that he was willing to let it go. Mm-hmm. Because he's like, well, if I'm not worthy, then that's fine, because I don't want to have to deal with this, because if I have to deal with it, then I'm going to have to look inward. And he didn't want to look inward enough. As opposed to the other 2, maybe that wasn't their fear. Maybe they had a different one.
See, that's the mark of the superhero, though, is that you have to be mentally strong.
Oh, I completely agree.
And it's the point where when everything is at its absolute worst, you still fucking do it because it's the right thing to do.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm going to give you 3 quick examples that totally fucking back up what I was saying and make me absolutely correct. First one is...
False! Black Bear.
You said that, the fear was Hal Jordan's weakness and stuff like that, and maybe that's not the same one that all those other Green Lanterns, Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, Kyle Reiner, and the Muslim new guy, that they didn't have that. I can never remember his name. It's Simon Baz. Simon Baz. That's the newest Green Lantern. I can never remember his fucking name. So, you said that maybe they didn't have that same fear. Alright, please, if you can, tell me what their fear is.
I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. First example, done. Second example, you've played the Injustice video game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who changes from a fucking Green Lantern to a Yellow Lantern after they were peer pressured by Superman? Hal Jordan, who is still a Green Lantern, Jon Stewart. Okay, second example, done. Third example.
Was Jon Stewart in Injustice?
Yes, he was. He is one of the alternate skins for Green Lantern, but you cannot play.
Skin.
But
not part of the story, though.
But Yellow Lantern. No, because I also read the Injustice comic book where Jon Stewart, it directly correlates with the video game. Jon Stewart is still a Green Lantern. Second example done. Third and final fucking example is in the Justice League War movie. The animated movie, which is the movie that takes place right after Justice League Flashpoint, so it's introducing the new 52. One of the first fucking things that Hal Jordan says is, I'm just a beat cop. This is not in my jurisdiction. Jon Stewart, Kyle Reiner, Guy Gardner, and Simon Baz would not say that. And have not said that.
See, okay.
Third example, done.
This is why Hal Jordan is more interesting to me. Hal Jordan is a more interesting Green Lantern to me for no other reason than the fact he is the one who is the flawed one. I like flawed characters. I like characters that fuck
I love flawed
up.
characters.
I love characters that don't always necessarily do the right thing that they should have done. They just act. And they act normally because that's who they are. And also, it gives you a chance to see the character not only A, grow, but B, do something that may surprise you at some point. If, for example, this is why I'm kind of bored with Superman, because Superman's a Boy Scout. He does the exact same thing every fucking time.
Well, now it's different in the new 52.
Unless it is an alternate fucking reality of shit getting fucked up.
Yeah.
He's going to do what Superman does, which is the right thing at all times, because he has to be the Boy Scout of the Justice League.
Then how are
he
you,
has to
how
represent
are you,
hope.
How are you upset with Christopher Nolan's Man of Steel then?
I'm not
if that's
upset.
a complete like fucking...
I'm not upset, because that's one of the things that surprised me, is that he killed Zod. I was like, oh. Because the whole time...
I don't feel like you were like, oh... I feel like someone stood up and yelled at the TV.
No. I don't like a dark suit. I didn't think I was initially going to like a dark Superman.
Okay.
Superman, I don't feel should be dark if you were going to do a reboot on the whole series from start to finish, like they did.
If it was a reimagining,
now
yes.
Them doing it the way they did, and me, I'm able to take a step back from fanboyism and be like, this is comic canon, and be like, no, it's not. This is a reimagining of what Superman is.
Yeah.
And seeing Superman, another side of Superman, one that is kind of flawed, interests me. Especially with them casting Ben Affleck as Batman, because, and everybody's going to fucking hate me for this, I fucking love Ben Affleck, and he totally should play Batman, because I want to see him play Batman for no other reason than to see him just fucking surprise everyone when he does a decent job. And you can make me eat my words later if he doesn't do a good job, and I promise you that I fucking will.
I see that going one of two ways. Either he's going to do amazing with it, or he's just going to be fucking terrible. And I mean like Batman and Robin terrible.
I don't know. Like, I've seen some of his more recent movies. I still haven't seen Gone Girl yet. I saw Argo, and god damn it, that motherfucker was amazing in Argo. And I want to see Gone Girl because everybody talked about how good he was and how dark of a character like he had in that movie. But I'm really interested to see what he's going to do with Batman. And I don't think he's going to do a bad job, because Kevin Smith will kill him if he does.
I like flawed characters as much as the next comic book geek. But correct me if I'm wrong, when Hal Jordan was taken over by Parallax, did he not almost kill all of existence? That's a pretty big flaw.
Again, interesting to me. Interesting to read. Interesting to be entertained by.
Mm-hmm.
If the character starts at point A and is always going to end up at point C, not very interesting to me. I'm reading the same fucking book over and over again. Now, if you take the same character from point A and take him down to make him go backwards and go to Z, see what you did there, and I'm interested. I'm going to keep reading. If you keep putting the same character in the same situations and they keep doing the same thing over and over again, I'm not going to want to continue to read that. Now, if you put them in different situations and they act differently than what I normally think they should act as a superhero,
okay,
I'm going to continue to fucking read that book.
Yeah, but other than the Parallax incident with Hal Jordan, it has been that A to C with Hal Jordan. It's been, I'm a beat cop, some shit happens, I'm a little pussy, I'm then Green Lantern again. That's what happens with and then I train people on Oa, and that's it.
All that I'm trying to do here right now is just basically say that
you're trying to stick up for a fucking little bitch of a fucking Green Lantern who, in the first 10 seconds of meeting Batman, gets his ring taken.
No, I don't even care about
in the first 10 seconds of meeting Batman, Batman took his fucking ring off, which you're not supposed to do.
All I'm doing is playing devil's advocate here, because I like interesting characters that do interesting things that is outside the box for their character to do, because it makes me think what's going on in their head to make them do that. That's what I like to read. I like to read, and that's why I like Constantine so much, because I can never tell what that motherfucker's going to do. Because I've seen him hold seances to fucking sell his soul to the three sons of Satan, so that when he dies, his soul goes to hell, and then they have to go to war over it. So guess what, Constantine? You get to live for fucking ever.
Smoke cigarettes and drink forever? I can get behind that.
I've seen him his friend Constantine's friend sells his soul to the devil to make the best beer in the world that he can enjoy for the rest of his days. But his soul's going to go to hell. I've seen Constantine hold a seance to get Satan up there to make him take a drink out of this beer that Constantine has put a spell on that's going to make it so it undoes everything. He puts himself in weird situations, anti-hero situations that are just awesome to me. And that, to me, is more appealing as a reader.
I feel like
as a comic book fan.
anti-heroes, just in whole, are much more enjoyable to read.
Well, Wolverine, done.
Wolverine, Venom, Constantine.
Phoenix. Phoenix is probably one of my all-time favorites because you take this chick who is completely and utterly loyal to the X-Men, would do anything for them. And what happens? She turns on all of them.
Yeah, in an instant.
Because she goes batshit crazy. And is the most powerful being in existence.
And you can't wash off crazy.
No, you can't.
You know what would make an interesting movie franchise?
Lemons.
No.
Yeah! Lemons!
Jason Todd.
I didn't hear the first part.
Jason Todd.
No,
Jason Todd?
I heard that fucking part, not the first part where you said an interesting what. All I was thinking
Lemons.
of was yelling lemons in your face after you were done.
An interesting lemon would be Jason Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you took Under the Red Hood and
Okay.
made it into a live-action movie, not that specific
movie?
story,
Okay.
but a live-action movie series starring Jason Todd.
You wouldn't even need Batman in it.
I know.
I would kill to see
You would just need someone playing Jason Todd, someone, not even the Joker, beating him to death, then exploding him getting resurrected, and then him turning into a fucking crazy motorcycle badass getting revenge. And that was
amazing.
You could have like
because
nods to Batman and Joker in the background. You wouldn't even need them in the movie.
Again, crazy turn for a character. Super fucking interesting to read.
I like how they did that crazy fucking turn for the character when he was so hated out of the gate. When Jason Todd was introduced after Dick Grayson went to become Nightwing, was so fucking hated. They were like, this is not the Robin that we know and love.
Because it's not Dick.
Because it's not Dick. And
It was Dick's.
yeah. And the readers love Dick.
You're gonna give me a little boy Robin? No.
So we had this like character that didn't want to listen to fucking Bruce Wayne, didn't want to listen to Batman, just wanted to do whatever the fuck he wanted, and he was so fucking hated. So then they did their poll, got Jason Todd killed in Death in the Family, and then resurrected him because they were like, we can make this character really fucking badass. And then we got Tim Drake, who is the Robin that I hate out of all of them. Tim Drake is my least favorite Robin. Just because, me personally, he's the most boring. I think they went like a safe route with Tim Drake. Do you know the story behind Tim Drake?
No, I don't.
Tim Drake, all the Robins had like some type of conflict.
The Robin curse.
The Robin curse, exactly. Yeah. Tim Drake is the only one who doesn't have the Robin curse. So Dick Grayson, family got killed.
Yep.
Bruce Wayne adopts him, becomes Robin. Tim Drake steals the wheels off of the Batmobile. Batman finds,
That's fucking ballsy.
stealing the wheels off the Batmobile.
Yeah, that's
Which
super
they
ballsy.
actually nodded to.
He puts the fucking Batmobile on cinder blocks.
In the animated Under the Red Hood, they actually allude to that, but it's not Tim Drake doing it. It's Jason Todd doing it.
Oh, did I say Tim Drake?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jason Todd.
Okay.
Jason Todd. I'm sorry, I got fucking confused. Jason Todd steals the wheels off of the Batmobile. Batman then sees potential in this kid, knows that he's just living on the streets and shit like that. He's like, okay, I need a new Robin because Dick is now fucking Nightwing in Bloodhaven. He's being a dick face. So,
Well, his name's Dick.
pretty much. So being penis face. So,
And he beats people with sticks.
yeah. So he's like, let me make this kid my new fucking Robin. He turns out to be a fucking asshole also because he was raised on the fucking streets. So he then gets killed. Batman goes into a deep, dark depression. And then Tim Drake is just a super, super intelligent kid who idolizes Batman as being the greatest detective in the world. starts pretty much following in his footsteps, finds out Batman is Bruce Wayne. He goes, nice. You need a new Robin. I found out who you are. Make me Robin. And he's just like, Okay. And that is it. I fucking hate Tim Drake. Tim Drake. He's just really fucking boring. He's just... Supposedly, in the comic book, they're making it seem that Tim Drake is more of a detective than Batman is. And I don't like that.
When I was little, and I used to read Batman all the time, Robin was my favorite character because he was the one that I could project myself onto, man, but be like, man, I wish I could be like Batman's sidekick and run around, be the boy wonder, and do all that cool shit. And then Jason Todd came along,
and you were like,
because I used to like Dick Grayson, but then Jason Todd came along, and when Jason Todd came along, I was like, you know what? Fuck Dick Grayson.
Fuck Dick.
I want to be Jason Todd.
You know what?
Jason Todd is.
I just noticed something.
Robin ever.
I just noticed what they did with the Robins. Tell me if I'm wrong, but the personalities of the Robins reflect the personalities of the youth at that time.
I don't know the timeline as far as when they came out, so I can't really say.
50s and 60s, Dick Grayson.
Okay. I can see that.
Super, super obedient. Hi, how are you, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, no, sir. 70s, 80s, Jason Todd. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, Dad. You can't tell me what the fuck to do. 90s, early 2000s, Tim Drake, more intellectual. Because remember when we were younger and people got fucking mad because they're like, you're young, how do you know more about technology? Yeah. You just have all this technology in your face, that's why you know more about it. Rah, rah, rah. That conflict we always came into contact with. Tim Drake. Now we're getting back into Jason Todd. You can't tell me what to do. I think I'm smarter than you, Mom and Dad. Damian Wayne. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, I mean, comic books have always done that. They've always tried to push, even Stan Lee has said it multiple times. He's tried to use comic books to change social opinion of things. Even with doing, black characters, back in the day. They tried to push that and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And the material.
He wants to push the comic book code as far as he can go.
Mm-hmm.
And if he has to go over it, he'll go over it if need be. And
because he's done.
I feel like comics still do that.
Well, they also do that to try and relate to their audience, too.
Well, yeah, it's because times change and rules need to change as well because of the times.
That's what Bob Dylan said.
That's why I like seeing, old clips from old comics every once in a while. Apparently back in the 50s and 60s, the phrase solid dick was used to mean, a stern talking to. Or,
I gave her a solid dick?
Yeah. But there's this one, it was Batman and somebody else, I forget what it was. And he basically looks at the guy, he's like, sounds like you need some solid dick from Batman. Which at the time made perfect sense.
Yeah.
But if you look at it today, you kind of question what the fuck's going on in this comic book.
Yeah.
So...
one of the...
back during,
it was the whole homosexual thing between Batman and Robin. Now since it's so... Not I wouldn't say it's PC, it's not politically correct.
It's inappropriate.
No, homosexuality now is a lot more accepted and comfortable now.
Yeah.
So if they were to do something like that now, still Robin as a kid would still be wrong. But Robin older, late Dick Grayson, if he were to have the Grayson thing, and it would be Batman and Dick Grayson as an adult now, just hanging out, and it seemed very homosexual, I don't think anybody would really question anything. But since it was super in your fucking face, and there was an outrage about homosexuality back in the 50s and 60s, it was a huge big stir up.
Holy penis is a vagina, Batman.
Yeah, exactly. But on the whole penises and vagina and homosexuality note, that's going to be it for the 4th podcast for Fibonerdi. I'm Vince.
I'm Hoyt.
And I'm Brandon.
Stay nerdy.